We have some breaking news from the Department of Education. There is an exciting new methodology that is predicted to rock the world of education as we know it. How exciting is that? The methodology is referred to as case-based learning. Basically, case-based learning is a method of teaching that involves heavy discussion of real-world examples, collaboration, and a variety of different teaching styles. Case-based learning involves discussing in-depth real-world examples and then putting those into practice in a setting like clinicals. There may not always be one single right answer for case-based learning problems. How much easier is it to remember something when you can relate it to an actual experience you've had before? Case-based learning can be in the form of many teaching styles. There are lectures, small group discussions, partner projects, seminars, workshops, clinicals, and even more. The role of the teacher in a case-based learning classroom is completely opposite from that of the teacher in a traditional classroom. The teacher does not lecture at the front of the room, but stands at the student's desk to comment on their work. She might also be off to the side and taking notes on the activities going on in the class. Some people believe that the case-based learning method is easier for the teacher because the students appear to be working alone, which would be less work for the teacher, but this is not the case. In reality, the case-based learning method is more work for the teacher. One must consider the time it takes the teacher to develop the problem, oversee the project and the students, encourage them to be independent, assess the performance, and evaluate their success. It might actually require more work than the traditional learning method. The role of the teacher is very vital for this learning experience in the case-based learning method. The role of the student in a case-based learning method is a lot different than that of the traditional method. At first, some of the students may have some trouble with self-directed learning. They may react with shock, denial, anger, or resistance. Finally, however, the students will accept the method and gain confidence in their ability to do so. Here is a video of a college student that experienced case-based learning.
And I speak on a personal note. I need hands-on material, right? It's difficult for me to sit through an hour lecture and not start to daze out after 45 minutes of being thrown information about a disease or a symptomology or a class of some sort. Lecturing cases have a time for their own. However, I think when it comes to lecture, right, the problem is you're given all this information, right? This could be a 1 hour lecture, it can be a 3 hour lecture, and you are just thrown information.
In case-based learning, the student takes responsibility for their own learning. This type of learning encourages them to identify their needs and resources to accomplish what they need to accomplish. Although this learning is independent, it comes with a considerable amount of collaboration with other students and also with the teacher. The process followed by the student includes collaboration, reflection, and peer assessment. The collaborative work helps students to comprehend the problem and apply it to future situations. The students are also responsible for self-reflection and peer assessment. These are key because students must become proficient in assessing their own progression and that of their peers. Students should learn to monitor their own learning and also provide credible feedback because this is an important skill and a professional skill. There are several obstacles that are facing the implementation of case-based learning. The availability of resources to use, quality assurance, the misconception faculty has of teaching methods, and the student interaction factor all must be overcome in order for case-based learning to work and be successful. There are many advantages that come with the case-based learning method. It promotes a deeper learning rather than a surface learning. It promotes retention of knowledge and interaction between students and staff. Real-life learning is brought into the classroom in a concentrated form. This means the student will be able to experience what they need to apply their knowledge without being completely overwhelmed. Another advantage is that the students are able to be active in their own learning process. The students will also be able to develop judgment skills and social skills they will need for the rest of their lives. Another advantage would be the students learn to work as a team with peers that are completely different than they are. Of course, with advantages come disadvantages. Although with case-based learning, the disadvantages are very few. Some of them include the fact that in order to establish a case-based learning, the teachers need to fully understand what's going on in order to be able to teach it in the correct way. Also, implementing the case-based learning method takes longer than traditional teaching, and it takes much more planning. Research states that case-based learning is a very effective method in teaching. The disadvantages can be corrected with some work and do not come close to the many advantages it has. Anytime students can be active in their own learning, good things will happen because they'll feel a sense of empowerment and control over their education rather than just being told what to do by someone else. Surveys have been done countless times in different areas on different age groups, and each survey comes back with reports that people participating in case-based learning have a deeper and more meaningful learning experience. Case-based learning is a collaborative method of learning. It requires students and teacher interaction, discussions, and hands-on learning experiments. It teaches students innovation, technology, life, and career skills. All of these are 21st century outcomes that will allow the student to take their education away from the classroom and use it for the rest of their life. Questions come into play with case-based learning to promote discussion. If the teacher thinks through her questions and how she asks it, she can spark debate and discussion to get the students on a deeper level of learning. This can also get students to ask better questions to the teacher as well as each other. With all of these things combined, I don't see why anyone would want to pass an opportunity like case-based learning up. It seems to me that it would be much more beneficial for students in the long run, and it would help everyone involved to gain a much deeper understanding. I think case-based knowledge should be implemented everywhere.